On paper, many nations claim strategic autonomy. But actions speak louder than press conferences. In 2025, a surprising list of countries tilt quietly toward India, buying its tech and weapons, wooing its investors, and courting its massive market, while staying officially neutral to avoid domestic backlash or great power pressure. Today we're counting down the top 10 countries that are secretly pro-India, but won't admit it. From the Gulf to Southeast Asia and the Caucasus, these quiet partnerships are reshaping trade lanes, energy flows, and security balances. Watch till number 1. You'll be surprised who's building deep ties behind the scenes. 10. Nepal. Nepal publicly balances India and China, but its economy and daily life remain closely tied to India. Trade routes, energy imports, and remittances from Nepali workers in India create an unspoken dependency. India provides quick aid during natural disasters, and its cultural and religious ties resonate deeply with the people. Nepali students prefer Indian universities, and Bollywood is part of everyday life. Politicians sometimes use anti-India rhetoric for domestic gain, yet behind closed doors, cooperation in hydropower, transport, and security continues. Quietly, Nepal leans on India more than it admits, making the relationship far stronger than official speeches suggest. 9. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka insists on neutrality, yet its survival during the 2022-23 economic crisis showed India's importance. When Colombo ran out of fuel and medicine, Indian credit lines kept the country afloat. Today, Indian investments dominate sectors like ports, power, tourism, and IT. Colombo also eyes Indian connectivity projects for regional trade benefits. While Sri Lanka avoids overplaying ties due to China's presence, its reliance on Indian support is undeniable. Pilgrimage and cultural exchanges further bind both societies. Officially balanced, Sri Lanka knows India is its fastest responder in crises, making its quiet pro-India tilt clear despite diplomatic restraint. 8. Bangladesh. Bangladesh publicly balances its policies, but economic data shows a growing dependence on India. Trade, textile raw materials, pharmaceuticals, and electricity flow across the border daily. Infrastructure projects like roads, railways, and river routes link Dhaka more closely with Indian logistics hubs. Cooperation in security, counterterrorism, and water management also continues behind the scenes. While election rhetoric sometimes sparks anti-India sentiment, practical governance keeps ties strong. The Indian rupee is slowly entering bilateral trade, and cross-border digital payments are being piloted. Bangladesh's success story is linked to India's support, making it quietly pro-India while officially stressing neutrality. 7. Oman. Oman rarely shouts about partnerships, but India is central to its economy and workforce. Thousands of Indian doctors, engineers, and sailors help keep Oman systems running. Energy exports flow to India, while Indian firms invest in Omani logistics, ports, and healthcare. Naval exercises and access agreements expand quietly, giving India a foothold in the Arabian Sea. Food security, too, links both nations, with Indian agriculture feeding Omani demand. Politically, Muscat avoids overt favoritism, yet its consistent outreach to India in business, security, and cultural exchanges signals a low-key but firm pro-India stance, valued precisely for being subtle. 6. Egypt. Egypt presents itself as non-aligned but is drawing India deeper into its economy and defense strategy. Indian firms are investing in renewable energy, railways, and telecom, while Egypt eyes India as a partner for green hydrogen projects. Defense cooperation has expanded through joint exercises and technology sharing. India's pharma and IT industries also offer alternatives to Western dependence. Publicly, Cairo plays down the connection to avoid upsetting regional players, but the quiet buildup of trade deals and industrial zones shows alignment. Egypt views India as a non-intrusive, reliable partner, a relationship growing beneath the surface, away from media headlines. 5. Indonesia. Indonesia rarely highlights its ties with India, but cooperation is intensifying. Both nations share maritime concerns in the Indian Ocean and South China Sea, leading to regular naval exercises and patrol coordination. India is investing in Indonesia's mineral and EV sectors, crucial for global supply chains. Trade in coal, palm oil, and digital services keeps expanding. Politically, Jakarta prefers to emphasize ASEAN's collective voice, avoiding strong bilateral branding. Yet the operational reality, security ties, port development, and tech collaboration shows a strong pro-India inclination. Indonesia and India act as quiet partners, protecting shared sea routes while building complementary economies. 4. Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't openly call itself pro-India but increasingly values the partnership. India provides training, maintenance, and defense equipment, especially as Vietnam modernizes its forces. Both nations share concerns over China's assertiveness, fostering naval cooperation and coastal surveillance projects. Trade is rising in pharmaceuticals, IT, and electronics, aligning with Vietnam's manufacturing boom. Vietnam also supports India's role in regional forums, though carefully, to avoid overexposure. Public messaging remains neutral, but the steady flow of deals in defense, energy, and tech reveals a quiet alignment. Hanoi sees India as a dependable, distant friend, a balance to larger powers in Asia. 3. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is reinventing itself under Vision 2030, and India is a silent but vital partner. Beyond oil, cooperation now spans IT, fintech, entertainment, and food security. Indian workers form the backbone of Saudi construction, healthcare, and services. Trade is booming, and investments are flowing into data centers and renewable energy. Security discussions, intelligence sharing, and defense talks remain discreet but active. Officially, Riyadh avoids labeling the relationship as strategic, maintaining balance with other global players. Yet beneath the diplomacy, Saudi Arabia knows India's market, talent, and stability are crucial, making it quietly but steadily pro-India. 2. United Arab Emirates. The UAE keeps its language diplomatic but is quietly one of India's strongest backers. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement has boosted trade massively, while new systems allow rupee-dirham trade settlements. Indian startups attract Emirati capital, and UAE firms invest in Indian ports, renewables, and real estate. Space exploration and fintech collaboration are expanding rapidly. Millions of Indians work in the UAE, powering its economy. While Abu Dhabi avoids loud rhetoric, the relationship is becoming nearly seamless across trade, defense, and culture. Officially framed as partnership, it's practically a quiet alliance, one of India's most reliable ties in the Gulf. 1. Armenia. Armenia rarely highlights it, but India has become a crucial partner in its security and economic strategy. With tensions in the Caucasus, Yerevan looks to India for defense equipment, training, and technology that others hesitate to provide. Trade and IT outsourcing are growing as Indian firms hire Armenian talent. Politically, Armenia values India as a distant, neutral partner that doesn't interfere but offers reliable support. The partnership is understated to avoid provoking regional rivals, but its depth is increasing steadily. Armenia's quiet reliance on India marks it as one of the strongest hidden pro-India relationships in 2025. Official statements may stay cautious, but the supply chains, ship schedules, and budget lines don't lie. These countries hedge in public and lean into India in practice. As India scales up energy, semiconductors, defense, and digital rails, expect more quiet friends to show up in the data before the headlines. Which country do you think is most quietly pro-India in 2025? And who did we miss? Tell me in the comments.